On ne t'a jamais vu, mais tu dis que tu fais le buzz. On ne t'a jamais vu, parce que tu n'as jamais de preuves. Faut toujours mettre une seule que tu peux décocher. C'est plus face à moi, cherche ailleurs, je suis pas compliqué. On connaît ça, on connaît déjà ça. On connaît ça, on connaît déjà ça. Ça, la ciel a chanté, maman. Qui peut aller à parler, maman. Ça vient de ton fils à fermer les bouches. Arrêtez de bavarder, vous mentir. On connaît ça, on connaît déjà ça. 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 Fini de vous calculer. Pourquoi vous êtes comme ça? Vous refusez de vous assumer. Tu m'en fais à gauche, tu m'en fais à droite. Aujourd'hui, ton masque est tombé au maman. Ta copine de terre, ta voisine de terre, le dolé de terre. Il faut laisser. On connaît ça, on connaît déjà ça. On connaît ça, on connaît déjà ça. Ça, c'est le chanter, maman. Qui peut venir à parler, maman. Ça vient de ton fils à fermer les bouches. Arrêtez de bavarder, de mentir. On connaît ça, on connaît déjà ça. 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 Honneur à sa majesté le roi, c'est capable de faire de Baba. Mauvaise mentalité, il faut changer. Les choses qu'on fait d'avant, là quand c'est mauvais, il faut arrêter. La blabla devant, la blabla derrière, la blabla en haut, la blabla en bas. Mauvaise mentalité, il faut changer. Les choses qu'on fait d'avant, là quand c'est mauvais, il faut arrêter. La blabla devant, la blabla derrière, la blabla en haut, la blabla en bas. On connaît ça, on connaît déjà ça. 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 Hi guys, thank you so much for joining. Welcome. Good evening. Hi Eunice, I'm glad you're able to finally join. Hi Marie, Forte Marie, Bestos Fongo. Thank you guys for joining. As usual, we're giving it a few more minutes, maybe a couple this time, so that more people join us. So if you're here already, can you please share as widely as you can, so that a lot of people can join us on this really important topic about our mental health. So I'll see you in 2 minutes, and I'll leave you with Kisila K, a Cameroonian, singing Mythomanie. So see you shortly. Thank you. On peut choisir ses amis, on peut pas choisir sa famille. La famille reste sacrée, alors c'est Dieu qui nous la donne. C'est Dieu qui nous la donne. Je suis peut-être parti, mais vous portez toujours dans mon cœur. Je suis très loin de vous, mais c'est vous qui faites de mon bonheur. Pour avancer, c'est grâce à vous que je trouve la force. Tous vos messages d'amour, c'est sur quoi je me réconforte. Pour avancer, c'est grâce à vous déçu. Ma vraie famille, c'est là qui ne m'a jamais trahi. Mes vrais amis sont ceux-là qui prient pour mon paradis. Ma vraie famille, le bon de moi, c'est ceux qui m'a. Hi guys, so I'm back. Exactly 2 minutes. So welcome, good evening, welcome to the Woman Experience with me, Goretti, your host. I'm so glad that you guys are here. Welcome to Daniel Tanyi. Welcome to Ju. Welcome Anna, Maureen, Besem, somebody, Mimi, Besem Chenge. My namesake is here. I am so glad that you guys were able to join us. Welcome to the show. Good evening again. For those who are joining us for the first time, welcome to the Woman Experience. I'm Goretti. I'm the host. And I've got my main guest, and you, my guest, my third guest, you are that, my third guest. This is a very interactive platform which we host every Wednesdays and Fridays evening, and we talk about issues that affect the woman's experience generally. And we also we get to bring men on the show, so it's not just our guests are not only limited to women. We bring men. We try and learn. The whole goal of the show, the whole vision of the show is to learn through our shared experiences. And we're very interactive, like I said earlier. So if you can please, if you've got any questions on the topic, if you've got any suggestions, if you've got an answer to anything that anybody has posed, please respond to that in the comments. Just leave it in the comments. If it's a question, I'll do my very best to bring it on and read it. If I miss it, don't hold me to task, because the questions sometimes the comments go really fast. So thank you very much for joining. And without further ado, I'm just going to go straight into our guest. Our guest tonight, we're talking about depression. I mean, if just over a couple of weeks ago, we had a 2-week 4-part series on mental health. And why we did that was because there had been so many things happening within our community about mental health, and so we tried to address that. If you haven't seen that before, our shows are on the page, the Goretti Experience page, so you can watch it, or you can watch on Facebook, on YouTube, or you can go back on YouTube and watch it. So on the Goretti Experience page as well. Today we're talking depression, and this is in response to a cry, because after the show, so many women contacted me privately and asked us to talk about depression. Actually, quite a few guys, I'm not going to call anyone's names, but quite a few guys contacted me and said depression is a thing in our community, it's something that we need to talk about. And I know that we are just left off of talking with professionals, and so I wanted us to really see it from somebody who has been through depression and who's come out of it smiling. And that is who our guest of today is. She is amazing, and she's got the sweetest smile. Without further ado, I'm going to bring Maria Nzelle Otobanje to the stream. Hi, Maria.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Goretti. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure, my honor, everything. I mean, it's not often that you get somebody willing to come and share their vulnerable moments with the world, literally. So I really thank you for offering to do that.
Yeah, we bless God. It's amazing how this depression it doesn't discriminate against men, women, black, white. It affects everybody.
It does.
So it's a nice topic. I'm so looking forward.
Okay, so I have quite a few people who are on the stream. Do you want them to participate, or did you just want them to watch? Because
I just want them to watch.
Okay, so this is the wrong link you shared with them. So if you guys can go on, all of you who are backstage, if you can go on the the Goretti Experience page on YouTube, and no, on Facebook. What's wrong with my brain? If you can go on
it's Friday.
I know, the Goretti Experience page on Facebook, and then watch, because that's where you'll be able to take part and leave your comments, and it will be more interactive. If you stay, I'm going to have to kick you off backstage and send you there. I'm going to put, you know what, can you send them the link? I have shared it to my page. So just, so I don't know who's going to help you.
I'll try.
It. All right. Thank you. So guys, I'm going to have to kick you off backstage now. If you can just go on my page, the Goretti Experience page. So thank you. Nzelle, look at how pretty you look. Look at how, I mean, you were talking about depression not discriminating. It really doesn't discriminate at all. I mean, the Mind UK, which is obviously a mental health charity in the UK, says that 1 in 6 people would suffer some form of depression.
That's true.
And not just like clinical depression. So it really doesn't discriminate. It affects everybody and everyone. And this is why I really thought that it would be a lot more helpful if we could talk to somebody who had experienced it, so that we, again, this is what our show is about. We learn through our shared experiences. So I'm so glad, once again, welcome to the show. And your people are here in their numbers. Oh my goodness.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. Nzelle, let's dive straight into it.
Definitely.
Guys, are you seeing this pretty woman we're sitting in front of me? If she had ever walked up to you and said, I am depressed, you see how beautiful she looks? This is the face. Well, I'm not going to say the face of depression in a negative way, but you know what I mean. That's the face of depression, in the sense that it doesn't discriminate. It doesn't discriminate. Nzelle, do you want to tell us a bit about you? Just so we get a bit of background. Yeah.
Okay, my name is Nzelle, Maria Nzelle. I am a teacher. Mm-hmm. I speak to people to encourage people, so I motivate people. I'm from Cape Town. I'm a Cape Towner from Cameroon. Mm-hmm. I'm a Cameroonian. And I'm a Christian. I'm a strong Christian. And I like socializing. I mean, a lot of people know that I like to party a lot. So I'm a very simple person, very straightforward, but I'm straight to the point.
Yeah, straight to the point.
Yes, straight to the point.
You know, you are a teacher. That's a big deal to me, you know, because you look like somebody who has it all figured out, you know. And even people who know you personally look up to you. Exactly. You said you motivate. So how then does someone who is a motivational speaker get depressed? Because you are the one who is supposed to uplift people. You understand? True. So, but before we even get into that, which is something that's going through my mind, how did it start? How did this depression start for you?
The thing is, 2019, I returned from Jerusalem, and I just realized that I was so sad. And if you look at me, normally I'm not a sad person. I know how to make things happen, you know. But I was consistently sad. And then there was a lot of I was struggling at work. It all started at work. I was so struggling at work. Okay, the workload, the people that you're working with, you know, everything was just wrong for me. And my energy level went from there right down there. I couldn't even climb the stairs in my own house. I was consistently sad. Okay. Just very sad.
Hold that thought. You keep saying you were consistently sad. A lot of us are watching and saying, but yeah, now, I mean, sometimes we're sad. We're sad.
Yeah, but the difference is you can be sad for one day. That's not depression. You can be sad for 1 week. That's not depression. Depression is when it's persistent and you're unable to shake it off by yourself. You know, because when I was really depressed, my friend told me, oh, let's go to Sase party. Let's go to Seka party. Let's do this. Let's do that. All that was good. But the thing is, I was still depressed. So even though I had a little bit of something happening, the next day I would go back to where I was. So it's that persistent sadness, that persistent low in spirit, okay, that persistency of being sensitive, of being tearful, okay, that is what depression is in a long time when you're able to come out of it yourself. It's not the one-off. It's not one-off. If it's one-off, I'll not be here.
Yes.
It's just that I was unable to shake it off. I was unable to come out of it by myself.
Yes. So for those who are joining, welcome to the show. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We're talking to Nzelle, and tonight we're talking depression. I just want to make a disclaimer. Nzelle is not a professional in this domain. She is just someone who's been through depression and who has actually gotten the medical tools to be able to handle it, and she's now on the other side of it and is managing her triggers very well. And so again, so we're using her experience to empower, to teach, to educate, and to create awareness. So I want you to get that Nzelle is not a professional. This is the woman experience, and it's through her shared experience that we're talking to this. So welcome to the woman experience, those who are just joining us. So Nzelle, you said some of the symptoms for you where you were persistently sad. I'm going to ask the audience, if any of you is going through this now, it is worth, or know somebody who is going through it, because not everybody can be like you who wants to share. We actually have a cognitive psychologist in the comments, and so if you he's Mr. Daniel Tanyi, who was a guest, but he is as Ndiang Atem in the comments. So if you want to ask some questions to that name, Dian, can you leave a comment so people can find you? He's a cognitive psychologist, so his domain is talk therapy, so he could help if you want to send some private questions. So let's get on. So when you were having those feelings, what did you know? At what point did you think that, okay, this is not normal?
The thing is, I didn't even know that it was depression. It's that sad. I didn't know the correct vocabulary to express my feeling, because where I come from, Cape Town, it's nothing that we don't talk about it. We haven't got a type of vocabulary for depression. So I remember going to the doctor, and I just said to the doctor, I went to my doctor, and I wanted to see the doctor. And when you opened the door, he said, "Come on in. Can you confirm your name?" As he said, "Can you confirm?" I just started crying. I just cried and cried and cried. And he just looked, my own name, I was unable to say it. I could not even, I just cried. It was so sad. And the doctor was like, "What is wrong with you?" And I just said, "Doctor, something is wrong with me," because I didn't know all of these words that I know now, like anxiety, I'm having very low mood, low self-esteem, I feel hopeless. It's like I want to kill myself. I feel suicidal. So I didn't even know. I just spoke plain English, like, "Doctor, something is wrong with me. I can't even climb the stairs," because where I come from, there is no vocabulary for these symptoms.
Let me take you back a few steps, Nzelle. Sorry, did I interrupt you?
No.
Let me take you back a few steps. Can you remember what led you to that place? What led you to those feelings of sadness? What were the triggers?
Okay, so there were many. Reflecting on it now, I can see that there were many triggers that I did address. Okay. So if I had addressed them from their origin, I don't think I would have been so depressed that I had to go on medication. You see, the first trigger for me, it was workload. And then the people that you're working with. So it all started at work. Okay. Another one, it was like misfortune. I had a very difficult class because I'm a school teacher. I had a very difficult class, and their estimated grades were so high. So I was always anxious, like, how am I going to get it work? How am I going to get it work? And at work, when they send you an email today and they ask you to address it by tomorrow, you see, all of those things, joining them together made me so depressed that at one point, I just stopped doing anything. And I said to myself that with or without this job, I need to live my life, because if I have to die, that work would replace me like that. They will replace me like that. So I had to consistently talk to myself that, look, Nzelle, your life is very important to you. It is not about work. And by the time I got to the stage where I was talking to myself, it was already too late. It was
Right.
just too late. I mean, there were other triggers. Money was something that was worrying me at that time because I bought a house. And you know, when you're overwhelmed with things, you know, this is happening, that is happening, this is happening. I just went to a place of darkness, a place of sadness, a place of hopelessness, a place where I just did not want to live again. At one point, I would pick all the knives in my house and lock them away just because I was afraid that one day I was going to end it all.
That's a very scary place to be. When you started feeling this and you started thinking to yourself, you know what, I think this is a bit too consistent, these feelings of sadness, these feelings of anxiety, who did you talk to before you went to your doctor? Did you talk to anybody who was in your circle that you talked to?
I'm about to cry. Just a good question, but I'm about to cry because when it all started, this is a sad place. I think I'm going to cry. When it all started, I spoke to one of my it's like a sister to me, you know, because I just did not know how to go about it. When the doctor told me that you are depressed and you need time off, and this, I didn't know how to go. I was so ashamed of myself. I felt like I was weak. You know, I felt like there was a demon inside of me because from a Christian perspective, that's what the brain drained us about, that there is a demon inside. I didn't know how to go about it. I just did not know. But I tell you something, I went to tell my friend who is a mental health nurse, okay, and also a Christian, about the way I am feeling because I thought that they could relate with me. And this is what she said to me. She said, Nzelle, when I don't candy white man country, so start the copy white man them. Now the white man country sick. Now you don't start the bring up, you know, feel be depressed. And then that really took me to a very, very dark place.
Yeah.
Very dark place. I could not cope, you know, about the fact that a mental health nurse would associate depression with a certain race, with a certain people, but with us, we cannot be depressed. I mean, it's a positive thought, but the truth is depression is real and it can affect anybody. And I don't think that that's the right vocabulary that you should be telling someone if they come to you to tell you about depression. I don't think so, because I felt really, really bad. I felt so low, and including members of my family. I told them I was depressed. They're like, just shake that thought away from you. This is not part of us, you know. I felt ashamed. I felt ashamed. I felt weak. I felt like in a dark place. You know, my one of my relatives in Italy said to me that, Nzelle, let me tell you, if you commit suicide, would you just cut rope, dig ground, bury you for it, because there will be no funeral for you. And that took me to a very bad place. Very, very bad place.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, and this is, I think, before we even go further, this is there's so many positive comments in so many words, positive words, guys. I literally just finished work and started it, so please bear with me. There are so many positive words in the comments. So many people are saying, very, very brave of you, stay strong, sis. Sure, the comments in plenty. So let's not distract ourselves.
Yeah,
And
let's do this. Yeah.
We'll read. But she's a strong lady and a fighter from Flo ASO. So there's just so many wonderful, supportive comments that I think you should go back and read them. And I thank you guys for being so supportive, because guys, like Nzelle is saying, depression is real. What you're talking about what your auntie said, that that if you died, will bury you. What are, if anybody can share, and let you to share if you know, what are some of our cultural, what does our culture, especially Cameroonian culture, say about suicide? Do you know how it is in your culture? Can you share, Nzelle? Do you know?
I want to share only two things that I was told when I was very depressed. The first one is the fact that wherever you have committed suicide, they don't take your corpse to the mortuary. They don't do all of that. They just up the rope or whatever thing you have used, and then they don't even dig the 6 feet. Yeah, they just dig a hole and they'll just put you inside. That's what my auntie told me. And then yesterday I was talking to a lady, and she also said, yes, Zelle, that's what happens in our culture. And I was thinking, oh my God. Now it can be on the other side, you can look at it as a positive thing because they're trying to tell people not to commit suicide. But if you are strong enough, you'll be thinking, oh my God, it means this is still a taboo. This is so bad. And then the second thing I want to talk about is the fact that um, when you commit suicide and they are coming to marry in your family, it is one of the things that people investigate. If members of your family are committing suicide, in that way, they will not marry in your family because you have possibilities of suicide.
So they assume that mental health is in your family.
Yeah, yeah.
See, and it sums up exactly what I'm thinking. June Beleke says, where ignorance is a disease. Ignorance is truly a disease. And this is why we need to have platforms like this to keep talking about mental health, because we've stayed in that box of stigma, fear, shame, and so many other things. It's time to open that box and make the whole of Cameroon or the whole of Africa aware that this can happen to every single one of us. No one is excluded from mental health, and especially depression. Depression, it literally just seeps in like a thief in the night. And before you know it, you're in that thought. I mean, so many of us, myself included, have gone through that. So we really need to understand and be open-minded when it comes to depression. So when you went to your doctor and he told you that you were diagnosed, what were the steps here in the UK? What were the steps from the moment you told your doctor that something is wrong?
Okay,
how did you get to diagnosis?
Okay, the first thing is there are a lot of there's Healthy Mind that the doctor will refer you to. There's what they call is it cognitive talk therapy that the doctor will refer you to. And what they do is that they would have a questionnaire that you would fill about your symptoms. So they will talk about sleep, they will talk about your energy level, they will talk about hopelessness, they will talk about how often you have these symptoms. So it's like a grading system. And the best thing to do in that situation is to speak the truth. It's not to make up numbers. If you're consistently low in spirit, you just indicate that it's always, because in that way they can use that to get the right diagnosis for you. So when I filled all the question and I gave it back to the therapist, he said to me, oh my God, that you're depressed, that I should take time off. So the first thing that they did for me was to get me some talking therapy. Okay, and this talking therapy would see you once in a week, and you would sit down with him or with her, and you would talk about your feelings. And then they'll give you a small diary that you'll be writing how you feel each day. And I think that was really good, because the days that I had a positive day, a much better day, were the days that I was active. I was not just sleeping on my bed, refusing to come out. You know, those are the much better days. So you've got talking therapy. Okay. Another thing that the doctor suggested for me, and this worked really well, it's my breathing.
Okay.
There's something called effective breathing when you are depressed or when you are feeling like anxious, you know, and you have to breathe in, hold, breathe out slowly. And it really helped me. And then there was exercise that I had to join the gym. That was really, really good. Really, really, really good. Because, you know, when you exercise, you release some happy hormones, and it helps you with your moods. It makes you feel much better. Yeah. So there was also gym. And then my brother in America, Dr. Victor, he called me one day. I was so low. And, you know, it's nice to talk about these things. He called me and he said, Titi, how are you? And I said, it's not been a good day today. I've not even gone out of my bed. I mean, I was sleeping for 3 days. Look at me. I was just on the bed. I could not, doing nothing. I was just sleeping, just lying on the bed. I would shut all my windows and doors, not open them for like 3-4 days.
Wow.
Can you imagine that? It was that bad.
Wow.
So my brother also said, my brother Victor said to me that, did you try and go out? And this is very good. This is like connecting to nature. You know, he said, did you just stay outside? Look, outdoor helped me a lot because I could feel that breeze on my skin, you know, like raindrops in my ears. And I was walking and it just made me feel much better. So connecting to nature is also a very good thing. Another thing is we should be very careful with what we're listening to, because you see, sometimes the way to your soul is through your ears, through your eyes, and all of the other senses. So you should be careful with what you listen to, okay, and what you're looking at, because these things that you listen to, they can affect your mental health. Okay, the things that you see, they can also affect your mental health. Okay, another thing is confessing goodness about your life. When I was depressed, I went closer to my values, to my Christian values. I held on to them. I confessed good things about my life. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Anytime when I had those suicidal thoughts, I would be confessing things like, I know the plans I have for you. They are plans to prosper you. You know, I was confessing good things about me. I held on to my Christian values like never before, you know, because I knew that if I had to get out of this thing, I would have to hold on to my beliefs.
Yeah.
You know, that's why my beliefs are there. So I had to hold on to my beliefs very closely in my heart. I mean, before I did anything, I would go to the cross of Jesus Christ. I have a cross in my different points in my house just to remind myself that I have a God in heaven that is watching over me. And if I'm going through difficulties, my God will set me free. I held on to Christian values. Yeah. So there are things that worked.
I like those. So with that, for somebody who is non-Christian, just understand that you need an anchor. An anchor that you can hold on to, even if it's just mentally, even if it's just words that you say to yourself.
Yeah, but the thing is, my friend is not. I've got a Jewish friend who has been depressed for like 10 years, and she said to me that she's not religious in any way, you know. And she told me that all that she does is that she has a picture of her grandfather and her grandmother. Yeah, and all she does is that she keeps memories. When she's well, she keeps memories, and these are the memories that she holds on to when things are bad.
Yes.
So it is important that we keep memories. Okay, you need to keep memories. Like if you have a nice family time, take a picture of it. If you've done something really nice, a nice painting, a nice so anything that is nice, take a picture of it, because when you get to that point where you are depressed or low, when you look at those pictures, guess what? You start to smile.
Yes.
Yeah, it starts to give you some happiness, some sense of like, wow, I can still live on. These are happy times, you know. So yes, okay, be active and keep memories of good things.
Wow, these are very powerful. Let me read some comments. First of all, Jiang is saying, thanks Nzelle for coming to share your experience. I am so proud of you. You are a star. And that's our cognitive psychologist in the comments. So if you want to reach out to him. Immaculate says, I'm so sorry to hear that you had such an experience with your supposed support system. This tells us how uninformed our community is with regards to mental health conditions. And then I'm going to try and scroll down quickly. So Afua is saying, depression is one of many taboos from where we come from. You become stigmatized for being depressed. Nzelle, it's me. You who? Miss Ging Chinda. Nzelle, it's me. In my village in Cameroon, when you commit suicide, a shallow hole is dug and you're buried instantly. And when people come to marry a family and they find out about suicide, it scares them off. Cameroonians generally don't know how to be supportive to people dealing with emotional problems. They claim it's generational curse, real ignorance. But there's something somebody said, I think it's Iya Bekondo, which I want to read. Zella, I like your fun, so posh. Yeah, I won't bring your comment to the screen because it covers all our faces. But she says, Saying a condition runs in families is not necessarily a bad thing. It's part of awareness. It can help future generations of that family with diagnosis and even treatment. Healthcare providers will often ask if others in the family have a condition you've been diagnosed with, especially non communicable diseases. It also depends on the context in which it is discussed. Of course, the church will term it a generational curse, but it is not always the case. Which brings me to my next question. As a Christian, when you went to, how did your Christian, I mean, you did say about one person, but were you able to take that to your Christian community, and how did they welcome you, or how did they welcome the news?
You see, depression and Christianity or beliefs is it's a gray area to look at, because if you look into the Bible, there are different persons in the Bible that showed signs of depression. Okay, for example, Saul showed signs of depression. He was so depressed that David had to play the music for him, okay, to come out of his depression.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so if you think about the madman of Gadara, who used to cut himself, which showed
Right.
signs of self-harm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are all mental cases that are in the Bible, and there are many of them. So if you try to associate yourself, and I don't blame anybody in the church, please, I'm here as someone who has recovered. And also, if you have any comment, I am learning from you. I cannot blame the church because I am also part of this church. Now, when you tell a church member, or when I told a church member that, and this is a senior leader in the church, that I was depressed, she just looked at me like this and said, Sister Maria, cast it out, cast that demon out. She took what holy oil, pour it on my head, and was going. I mean, these are all good things, but they were not practical. And you see, the thing is, I left that session thinking that I am possessed. You know, I left that prayer session thinking that I am possessed. It didn't help me it didn't help me at all. Okay, it instead took me downwards. Yeah, it instead took me really, really, really in a very dark place. Now, I went home thinking that I'm really possessed. I prayed about it myself. The next day I went to her and said, Sister, I still don't feel better. And I want to tell you in confidence that I have this type of thoughts. And she said, confess good things about your life. This cannot be your portion. And it is true. It cannot be your portion. You see, that brother, sister in the faith, if someone comes to you that they are depressed, the truth is they are Christians who are committing suicide. The truth is they are Christian brothers and sisters, even bishops or pastors that commit suicide. And the reason is because we are not open about these things, and we haven't educated ourselves. We have no knowledge of this, okay, to deal with it. Because I went to my church 3 times before I decided that, no, this is not for me. I'm not doing this anymore. 3 times. And all the 3 times I was told that this is demonic, that it's very demonic. Yeah, that's what I was told. Okay. And pouring of oil and laying of hands is all good. But also the Bible says that you should take actions. Okay. Actions. You can pray for thy kingdom come, but you need to take actions with your faith. Okay, to help you come out of that place. So I had to take actions. I had to go back to my senior lady and said, listen, I am going to go to the hospital. I'm going to, if there's any help out there, I'm going to take it. If there's any medication that can help me, I'm going to take it. And I think that people should be in a place, Christians should be in a place where they can talk about their mental health. Churches should be in a place, they should be in a place where they can preach about mental health. They can encourage their church members to talk about mental health. They should be able to have activities, okay, to educate or enlighten the community, their Christian community, about mental health, because mental health does not discriminate. These days, we see a lot of children. I'm a teacher, and we see a lot of children in school suffering from mental health. So it's not about age. It isn't about color. It's not about gender. It's also not about faith, because Muslims, Christians, Hindus, they all suffer from mental health. So if we shy up from these things, we're not helping ourselves, and we are also not helping our community. So faith can play a big role in our enlightenment or in driving mental health forward. That's my opinion about things.
And I think in this case, to Tuafese's case, faith played a big role in actually helping, because she says, I was depressed when my mom passed and I managed to overcome it through prayers. So that is good for you. Boseme says, Boseme says, Paul the apostle himself was depressed to the point where he contemplated suicide. So depression is a human condition that is deeply rooted in your thought process. And for those who are joining, a few people are joining us, welcome to the Woman Experience. Our guest is Nzelle, and our conversation today is on depression. Before we started, which is something I should have done, I didn't. So for those who don't understand what depression is, depression is defined as this. Let me bring up the depression is a low mood, like Nzelle has been saying. It's a low mood that lasts for a very long time and it affects your everyday life. So if you're feeling sad today and then you feel well and happy tomorrow, and then the day after you feel sad, that's not necessarily depression, right? Yeah. And also depression is, so in its mildest forms, depression can mean just being in very low spirits. In its mildest form, it won't stop you from leading your normal life, but it makes everything seem harder to do and seem less worthwhile. So that is a good way to begin to identify how you feel and question these feelings. Right? Are you okay, Nzelle?
Yeah, I was just about to say that depression affects people in different ways. Yeah. So everyone has a different way to manifest their symptoms. And also depression has got different intensities. So some people are severely depressed, and then some other people, they can go about their lives, okay, or they can manage it effectively. So there are different intensities of depression.
And there are so clinically there are three types of depression. I'm just going to say that before we continue our conversation. There are seasonal affective disorder, depression that occurs at a particular time of the year or during a particular season. So maybe during winter, you're always sad. Throughout winter, you dread winter, or maybe you suffer from allergies, and throughout the summer, you're just miserable. So that seasonal affective disorder. There's this dysthymia, like continuous mild depression that lasts for 2 years or more. It doesn't necessarily interrupt your everyday activity, but you are just, your base state is sadness. So that if that makes sense to you, if you can identify with that. There's prenatal depression, which is depression that occurs during pregnancy, and it's also sometimes called antenatal depression. There is postnatal depression. That's depression that occurs in the first year after giving birth. But if not treated, it can carry on with postnatal depression. It can carry on. So I can identify in any of those, it's worth looking into it, and it's worth seeing your GP, or you can talk to, again, Mr. Ndiang Van Atems in the comments. He's a cognitive psychologist or a talk therapist. So you can get in touch with him. So Nzelle, what would you advise a mommy in Cameroon right now, or a young girl in Cameroon who is in a place where she has these feelings, but she cannot communicate, knowing how our culture is regarding this? What would you advise her or them to do right now?
Okay, the first thing is, it's our responsibility. It's not right for us to say that our country doesn't address this. We have to look at a way forward as a community and also as a people to look at how we can empower ourselves and also educate ourselves on depression. If you're a young girl in Cameroon and you think that, oh, what Goretti and Nzelle are talking about is something that I can identify with, the first thing to do is to talk about it, please. Okay? If you cannot talk about it to your parents, I'm sure you can talk about it to your friends or to your body or to your big sister, you have to talk about it. I don't know how many times I've talked about talking, because that is the only way you can actually express your symptoms or the way you're feeling. So you talk about it. That's the first thing. The second thing is to get yourself busy and occupied. Okay. If you're busy and occupied, or you're active somewhere, there's a tendency of you moving away from your depression.
Right.
Okay. Because I've noticed it for myself. When I'm busy, I don't have those negative thoughts that I have to deal with. Right. When I'm involved in some sort of recreational activity, maybe I'm drawing, or I'm designing a dress, or I'm looking at a plan. When I'm doing all of that, for some odd reason, I get it, that suicidal, negative, low feelings, they actually don't affect me that much. So the second thing is, please be active. Don't just be idle. Get something and get it done. Secondly, thirdly, if you think it's not going, please talk to a medical professional. Although Cameroon, it's still developing in mental health. That's my own take of it. Okay. And I apologize if there are any mental health doctors here from Cameroon. I think that as a country, we are still in a place of trying to identify ourselves. Okay, I don't think that there's a lot of research and a lot of support in regards to mental health in Cameroon. Okay, and I might be wrong about that, but this is my own take of it. Okay, please speak to a medical professional, please. Okay, lastly, you can go to the church. Okay, but you as an individual need to confess greatness about your life. You as an individual need to hold on to your values. Okay, because your life is precious. I'm talking to everybody now. Your life is precious. You see, the thing is, if you die, you will be replaced at your workplace. Okay, your friendship group, they will just mourn you for 2 minutes. The next minute they'll be enjoying some Coca-Cola and Fanta and chicken somewhere else, like you didn't even exist. Okay, so the thing is, you need to be able to hold on to your own values, to say that. And the thing is, loving yourself is not a crime. That's what we've been brain drained. That, oh, you need to love each other and don't love yourself. I tell you today that you love God first. The next person is to love yourself. And then after that, you can be loving whatever thing you want to love. You must love yourself. Cherish your life. Hold on to your values and yourself. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, and you're precious. And you are people love you. Yeah. The thing is, you do not know that how much people love you. But if you're listening from Cameroon or from whichever part of the world, I want to tell you that people love you so much. Your family loves you. Your friends, they love you. But above all, I want you to love yourself. Please. Oh, yeah. Love yourself.
Very, 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 very true, Zelle. Very, very true. So, positive affirmations and loving yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, how can you love someone else?
Exactly.
Grace Foko is saying it is due to a chemical imbalance in the brain. The serotonin level is low in the brain. Okay, so I'm not a professional here. Nzelle, did you ever hear about that from your doctors or in your research?
No, I know that it's chemical imbalance. So when you take medication, that's why I don't talk about medication. I told you about this, that the reason why I'm not talking about medication is because, one, medication will help you, like your citrulline or your Zoflox. These are different type of medications. They would help you to balance different chemicals in your brain. However, medication is very addictive. Very extremely addictive, and it takes someone with a strong determination to come out of medication. Yes, these are chemical imbalance. Okay, I agree with you, but you can use physical methods to come out of it, to balance those triggers. Medication, in my opinion, should be the last thing that anybody is going for. In my opinion, I'm not a medical professional, but medication should be the last thing.
But you went the route of medication. You eventually started on medication, and I know you don't want to talk about it, but I want to ask you why you decided at that point to take medication?
You see, the thing is, at first I thought everybody around me said, don't take any medication, don't take any medication, but they were not giving me an alternative
Right.
of what I should be doing without taking medication. No one gave me an alternative that, okay, let's go for jogging, let's do this. Nobody gave me. And every day I was getting very sick. Every day I was hopeless. Every day I had suicidal thoughts. Every day I was in a dark place. I wasn't functioning well. I wasn't living to the best of my ability. And I thought that, listen, I've tried all the things that I know. Now I'm going to try something else.
Yeah.
You know, so I took citrulline for a few times, but the thing is, I was seeing spiders on
Yes.
the wall.
Yeah.
Okay, seriously. And at one point, I said to myself that, you know, when you hear that people are hallucinating, you don't understand it until you are inside of it. I remember taking it for a few days. I saw spiders on the wall, and I had to go. I said I should touch them. I was telling my partner that, Tommy, spider, spider. He said, there's no spider there. There's no spider. And it came to my understanding that these are the symptoms of the medication that I was taking. You know, this is how it manifests. So you start to hallucinate. Okay, sleep was a problem for me. I wasn't sleeping when I was depressed. I wasn't sleeping at all. I needed something to help me sleep so that I could get out of the bed the next day and do my work. Okay, and I couldn't sleep. Nothing was making me sleep. So I needed medication to help me sleep. Does that make sense? Medication,
like yours was a really bad depression.
Yeah, medication, please. I'm begging everybody. I'm not a medical professional. Okay, I'll say it again. I'm not a medical professional. I can only talk about what I have gone through and how I can help other people. Medication is the last option for me. In my opinion, I think people should try some physical therapy first, talking therapy, being active, and all the things that I've talked about before they go for medication. When all of those things are not working, then go for medication, please. Because medication, first of all, you get so addictive to medication, you can't function without medication. You start to shake. There was one time that I went to a friend's party and I forgot to take my medication, Gority. I started shaking. As I was shaking because I was dependent on that medication for my everyday thing. I was dependent on that medication. So I don't like to talk about medication. It is the last option for me. Okay, it is the last option for me. I advise anyone who comes to me for when they want any talk about depression that you should look at physical therapy first. Your talking therapy, exercising, getting active, holding to your Christian values, all of these things, hold on to them first until all of it is not working, and then you can go on to medication. If not, you will start to see flames on people's hair. That's what my friends told me, that Zelle, I could see flames on your hair. Flames. I said, maybe I've gone to heaven and I've come back like an angel. That's why you can see flames on my hair. But no, that's citrulline. That's how citrulline manifests itself. So if you're on citrulline, okay, you can share with us the experiences that you've had from citrulline, because I saw spiders, my friend, so everybody with fire on their hair, fire.
I shouldn't laugh. It's not funny. It's really...
No, laugh. It's time to laugh, because then nobody was laughing. Now we could laugh about it because we know what we are going to. But, we know our journey.
Ben Diang, who is Mr. Daniel Tanyi, who was our guest, who is the cognitive psychologist, says the NICE guidelines recommend a combination of medication therapy and talking therapy to get fast and effective recovery.
Good for him.
Good. Zelle, somebody asked me a question. I want you to give me practical steps. You know me, I'm always about practical steps. I want practical steps from when you were on the medication or decided to stop taking the medication. How were you able to slowly overcome it to the point that to who you are now? Like, how were you able to? I want practical everyday steps. Somebody asked about your hygiene. How was your hygiene during that time? How did you? What?
They've
Yeah,
been reading the NHS guideline. It is true that because your self-esteem
yeah,
goes down. The way you see yourself, you're hopeless. You're hopeless. You
yeah,
only want to stay on your bed. Okay,
yeah,
even to go and take a shower is a whole problem.
yeah.
Okay, one of my friends told me that their menstrual cycle just ceased when they were depressed.
Wow,
Yes, just ceased. They didn't have any menstruation or any of that. So
wow.
first of all, to come out of the medication, okay, I had to. There's a way you come out of medication, and I took a decision to come out of medication because of all the side effects of the medication. I had to come out of medication.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, what I did is I took alternatives. So one day I'll take the medication, the next day I won't take the medication, the next day I'll take it, and then the next day. Then I drop to one day, take it, 2 days, don't take it, one
Mm-hmm.
day, take it. Do you understand? So because you don't just stop
Yeah.
these
Actually,
medication, you
good
don't
person.
just
You don't.
okay,
No.
yeah, you don't just stop them because you can go to what they call relapse. Is it relapse? Yes, I think that's the word. You can go back to be extremely depressed more than you were previously depressed.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes.
So I for a while I trained myself like this is not for me. So I had to do one day off for a long time to wean my body out of the medication.
Yeah.
And then what did I do? I mean, don't get me wrong, Coretta. There are days that I feel low, but this is not persistent as it was when I was very depressed. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. If I tell you that all my days now are just jolly, jolly and niceness, then I'm lying. There are days that I feel low.
Yeah.
However, I've trained myself, okay,
Yeah.
to come out of sadness and loneliness. And I'll talk about loneliness very soon. Okay.
You will.
So, what I did, first thing is talking therapy. Okay. I'm going to give practical steps. You
Mm-hmm.
see, let me tell you, someone would tell you that, why are you talking to yourself? You are a madman or a madwoman. It is a lie. The best person to talk to is yourself. If you're unable to talk to yourself, who can talk to you? So I used to go and get therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what the NHS would do, what your doctor would do is that they would get you a therapist that you can talk to in your local community. Okay. So
Yeah.
you go there every week and then they will talk about your mental health. And then what I did is that I went to my therapy and I spoke the truth. I wasn't ashamed. Because I was at the point where I had to think about death and life. And I chose life. So I said I was going to speak the truth about the way I was feeling. Okay. And then when the therapist gave me some points to work on, I would come home. And if there are things that I think that is going to affect my mental health, I'll talk to myself that
Right.
Zelle, you're better off doing this. Okay, Zelle, you're better off doing this. Zelle, this would work for you. So I was talking to myself, even when I was driving, and I started to because there was one time I wanted to drive myself out of the motorway. It was that bad.
Wow, Zelle. Wow.
It was, wow, yeah, yeah. It was that bad. One time I wanted to drive, and I have my auntie in Coventry. I know most of my friends know my beautiful auntie in Coventry. She is an angel. Her name is Songdongo Delta. No, Mrs. Fonge. She is an angel, because she's one member in my family who stood with me during this period. I cannot fault her for that. So I almost drove myself out of the motorway. It was that bad because I just wanted to end it all. I didn't have hope. Yeah. So I've talked about talking therapy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've talked about being active.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to be active. Get something that you're doing. If it's drawing, okay, or even puzzles. Puzzles. This thing that children. Any of those things that is going to change your thoughts. You
Yeah.
know, get active. Okay. Another thing is memories. You don't know, all the time I take pictures. People used to ask me, Nzelle, why do you like to take pictures? Because when I get to my point of sadness and loneliness, guess what I look at? I look at the pictures of my family. I look at the pictures of my friends. I look at the pictures of fantastic things that I've done. Another thing that I did, and you'll be very surprised, is that I made sure every day I did good things. Yeah. I'll tell you about goodness. I make sure that I help people. I say thank you. I was just doing good because I realized that when you do good, you have that spirit of love inside of you, that happiness. Okay. I Another thing that I did is that I rewarded myself for little achievements. For example, if I managed to get out of my bed and take a shower and brush my teeth, I give myself a tick for that day.
Oh my gosh, where?
Yeah. If I was able to maybe walk to Rachel's house, I'll give myself a little tick. So I give myself little rewards, okay, when I've done things, when I've done anything. And I used to look at my report card. I used to call it my report card with little ticks of things that I've done, and it used to make me feel happy that, oh, I can do this, I can still do this. And I wasn't driving that time, but even if I drove from here to Tesco and back, I would give myself a big tick or buy myself ice cream.
Yeah. You're making me want to cry.
Don't cry, I beg. We have to finish this show.
Yeah. Oh dear. Yeah. Honestly,
Yeah.
I can't even imagine. I can't.
Yeah, it was that bad. So rewarding yourself, also there's something we call knowing the triggers, okay, and managing the triggers. If your trigger is about money,
Yeah.
Don't cry, because I'll start to cry as well.
It's okay.
See, if your trigger is about money, because a lot of people have told me that when they are broke, they get very depressed. If your trigger is about money, please, okay, budget well so that you can manage it. Okay. If your trigger is about workload, talk to your employer, okay, about it. If your trigger is about social norms, okay, because this thing, depression, it's very complicated. Someone told me that when people don't talk to them, so they've caught them jackass. If they don't talk to them, they get anxious and it leads to depression. Okay, right. Because all of these things, if we don't address them in our society, we'll keep on doing it over and over. So if you know that your trigger is people are not talking to you, or people have caught you jackass, look at a way of addressing that. So know your triggers and manage them effectively. Okay, that's my advice. Okay, keeping a diary of good things that have happened is another thing. Okay, connecting to nature is another thing. There are too many things that we can do practically to come out of depression. Too many.
Wow, too many. Okay, so when so if that woman who is in Cameroon is watching this, or mommy who is older and can identify having been through this, these are some practical tips. I know that the earth is very good to soothe the soul. So if you're going through a bad day, sometimes just taking off your shoes and walking and connecting with the earth is also some of the things that I do to live off that state. Nzelle, I want you to talk about loneliness. We've talked about loneliness, and I really want people to understand what loneliness is. And let's talk about it the way we talked about it behind the scenes. So go on. Why would you define loneliness, the kind of loneliness you felt during that time? How was it different from just the normal loneliness, the lonely feelings that we all feel?
Okay, there are two words in the English language that people get confused with. There's being alone. So I'm alone in the house. Okay. Now.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's also loneliness. Yeah. Being alone means you don't have a physical presence of another human being or another person with you. Yeah. That's what being alone is. So you can be at home alone. Yeah. Okay, you can go for a walk alone. You can go for a drive alone. Okay, that is being alone. Now, being lonely is a state of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's what being lonely is. Because being lonely, you can be with people and you're still lonely. Okay? You can be with your husband and you're still lonely. Why? Because you're in a situation where you're not cherished, you're not respected, you're not loved, you're not seen as someone. Okay? That's what being, that's what loneliness is. Loneliness affects our mental health. Okay? Because you can be alone at home, but you're not lonely. Because maybe you're indulged in a book, you're reading a book. Okay? So you're not lonely because you're active. Okay? You can as well be with people, okay, but you can still be very lonely.
Very low. And I'm sure
Very,
people in the comments can identify with this. It is
yeah.
not unhappiness, it's feeling, it's loneliness, it's feeling like no one, wherever you are, you can be in a crowd, but you feel like nobody is seeing you, nobody sees you, nobody cares.
Exactly. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Exactly. Nobody cherishes you. Nobody values you.
Yeah.
That's what loneliness is. And I have too many people that have called me and said that, Titi, we are in a relationship, we are married, we've got children, but we are still lonely. And it took me a while to understand it, that how can people be in a relationship, people are married, okay, and they are still lonely? I don't get it. Then I came to a point of realization that, okay, loneliness is not about people. It's about the state of your mind. That's what loneliness is. It's about how you connect with people and how people connect with you. That's what loneliness is about. So you can be married for thy kingdom come. You can have 100 children. You can have 10,000 friends, but you can still be very lonely.
And so what would you advise, or how do you overcome loneliness?
Okay, the first thing is, I would tell people that it is not your fault if people don't like you. That's the first thing. Okay, it is not your fault. However, if you think that you're irritating, you need to think about yourself. Okay.
Yes.
No, because it's the truth.
Oh, it's the
Yeah.
truth. It's the truth.
I don't expect anyone to change because they haven't got friends. I don't expect them to change. No, 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 no. What I expect you to change is, I want you to look at yourself in the mirror and say to yourself, Titi, why is this thing happening? Maybe I've got some really bad habits that I want to change. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the first thing that I'll talk about. Yeah. The second thing that I'll talk about is for you to love yourself. I've said it like 3 times today. Okay. Love yourself and love you.
Yeah.
And love, you can be you alone. Okay. Rachel used to tell me something, that I like my me time. And it took me a long time to understand that. What is me time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Me time is just that time where you want to spend with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And some people think that it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
Mm-mm.
It's not a bad thing. Okay. Your me time is a time when you be with yourself. You try to have some time for yourself. Some time where you can try different makeups. You can try different recipes. You know, you can think. It's okay to dream and have visions. You know, you can look at how beautiful life is. You know, you can write some poems, some story. It's just that time. Okay, that's me time. So to come out of loneliness is, first of all, to have your me time, so that if people don't call you, you're still okay. If people don't love you, if people don't cherish what you're saying, or if people don't comment, I mean, somebody told me that they are depressed because people don't comment on their Facebook things. I said, my dear, come and join real depression. That is nothing for you to be depressed. Yes, that people don't comment. So even if people don't comment on your thing, or people don't like your things, okay, if you like yourself and indulge in activities that is going to make you feel better, you really don't need any other person.
That's self-love again.
Self-love.
This is where self-love comes into play. You need to be able to look at your face in the mirror, look at yourself in the mirror, and be happy with what you see. It doesn't, you have to find ways to be able to get to that point. If right now you don't like what you see, there are so many ways. Again, positive affirmations. You can't say that enough. Just affirming positive things about yourself, and in a way, you can trick your brain to convince your brain to love you. You
Yeah.
can, by consistently reminding yourself that you're worthy of love, you're worthy of love, you're worthy of love. So you have to
Yeah.
find what works for you. But I totally agree with positive affirmations. You need that. You need to, every day you wake up, when you look at the man, the woman, the girl in the mirror, you need to be happy with what you see. That's the first
That's
step
right.
towards self-love. Because if you don't have that, you have nothing to offer anybody else.
Yeah, it's true. That's very true. And also, I want to encourage people to be happy. There's a difference between joy and
Yeah,
happiness. Okay, there's a big difference. People think that they are the same words. They are not. Happiness comes from happenings.
right,
Okay, so when you buy a car, you're happy. When you
right.
buy a new house, you're happy. When you buy a new dress, you're happy. When you do nice makeup, you're happy. Okay, these are things that bring what they call happiness. But joy is not dependent, or is not dependent on anything. Joy is within. For Christians, they say joy is the fulfillment of the Holy Spirit inside of you. That is what joy is. And when you have joy in your heart, okay, if you consistently desire joy, there is a very slim possibility of you to be depressed.
Right.
Okay, happiness is good, but happiness is short-lived, because when you have a shoe, when you buy a new shoe, you're only happy for that moment.
Yeah.
In 3 days time, you will be just normal again, so your depression will come back. If you buy a nice hair,
Yeah.
okay, you'll be happy just for that moment. After about 2 weeks, your depression would come back. So what you need is what we call joy,
Right.
which is the fullness of the Holy Spirit inside of you. With joy, okay, you can beat depression hands down.
I think it's very important that I think knowing the difference now actually it would even help me identify this. Okay, well, right now, no, this is happiness. This new shoe, this new shoe has just brought happiness. So
No,
what
it's
what
good.
does
Happiness
buying
is good.
that new shoe? How does buying that new shoe translate into joy?
I
Because I
can't hear you. Sorry.
no, I'm just this is me talking to myself. So I'm saying when you buy a pair of shoes, right? You said
Mm,
it is happiness because it's temporarily, it's for a happening. At that point, it's that shoe. But you
yeah,
need to find how that buying that shoe translates to true joy.
yeah. Okay. But joy is that fullness. For Christians, is the fullness of the Holy Spirit inside of you. For non-Christian, is that thing that just makes you smile, that you are okay, you are alive, you're well, you
Self-love.
feel a new day. Okay.
Self-love.
Self-love, that's it.
Self-love.
Well, yeah, I think that's the main thing that everyone should go home today.
Yeah.
Self-love.
Love.
Okay, it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing.
Oh yeah. And somebody is asking that Eugenie is asking, what are the things that keep you joyous?
Ha! Praise and worship. I don't know. I'm going to talk from a Christian perspective.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, for me, praise and worship, okay, it gives me some happy hormones. Okay.
Mhm.
It makes me not want to stop smiling. So praise and worship for me is
Mhm.
the first thing.
Okay.
Okay, because I'm not that person who prays for 3 hours. I'm not that type of Christian. I'm not going to come here and lie. I pray maximum 30 minutes. That's my maximum. But I spend a lot of my time in praise and worship. That's the first thing. The second thing I want to talk about is doing good. Doing good. Have you ever gone to a party and you realize that this person wasn't talking to you, but you just went and say, hello, how are you doing, Eunice? And she says, oh, I'm doing fine. It gives you happiness. It gives you that thing inside of you, like, you know. Yeah. So doing good is another thing. Okay. Praise and worship. Okay. You can add your prayers to it. Okay. Doing good is another thing. Holding to Christian values, okay, helps a lot. Your Christian values, holding to them, affirming good things about your life, that I am beautiful, okay, I am wonderfully made, okay, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, okay. The Lord knows the plans that He has for me. They are plans to prosper me. So all of those things there, if you keep on saying it over and over and over, guess what? It becomes part of you and you become what you're saying.
Positive affirmations.
That's it.
Positive affirmations. I like that. Zella, if there was one thing you could say to the people who did not understand you when you shared your depressive um, state with them, what would you say?
Okay. First of all, I have forgiven you.
You have to.
That's the, yeah,
Yeah.
of course now. We are Christians. We have to forgive.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the first thing. I have forgiven you. The second thing is I do not expect everyone to be in my shoes. What I expect is that, first of all, people would educate themselves. We will all educate ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is, please do not bring the me of yesterday today, because yesterday I was happy.
Yeah.
Okay, I was okay. I was able to get out of my bed. I was able to have a shower. I was able to eat. I was able to sleep. Today, I've had a trigger and I'm not able to do those things. So for you to tell me that, oh, remember yesterday, it was like that, you know, for me, it worries me a lot. I just think that you should deal with people today and then now.
Right.
Okay.
So, but this is if you know that they are depressed, or generally. Are you talking generally, or if you know that these people are going
No,
through?
if someone is coming, is telling you about their mental health,
Yeah,
deal with them in the now.
the understanding.
Okay. Yes, in the now. Okay,
Yeah.
and give them an opportunity to talk, because talking about it is another step to healing. It just takes it out of your mind that at least someone has listened to me. So please, if you're out there and you're wondering what to do, is just to give someone a moment, a listening ear, okay, and let them talk, please. We have to talk about our mental health. We have to talk about the way we are feeling.
I'm going to break it down to something really simple, because I've heard this kind of talk from women saying this girl like for talk. This girl like for talk about problems a lot. You hear that a lot. I want you to know that when you see a woman who is talking about her personal issues to everybody, you have to identify that there's a problem.
True.
This is one thing that somebody, a therapist, advised told me. When a woman starts telling every and anybody her problems, her personal problems, she's just looking for. Just know that she must be going through something mental and something emotive, and you try as much. Don't gossip her name. Listen at that point. What is this woman saying? What is her cry? What is she not saying when she's saying all these things? What does she
True.
need? Be empathetic and listen, because all that woman wants is for one person to empathize and say, where is this Ashia? I know exactly what it is you're going through. All guy, all man, don't laugh at the man and say, since when do men talk like this? No. If men handle it a lot differently from us women, though. But this could be one of the symptoms. People who talk about their problems to everybody, they're looking for answers. So be empathetic. Don't look at it as food for gossip, please. No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Zelle, thank you so much. Honestly, everybody in the comments, I can't even read people's comments because I'm so.
Can I just say something before you kick me out of the show?
Oh, no, I'm not
I
kicking
want,
you. I'm about 15 more minutes to
I
go.
want to I want to take this opportunity to please, okay, to please encourage people to hug each other. Okay, please. Okay, I'm not saying that because hugs and kisses and love, okay, helps us to deal with our mental health. So if you're in a relationship, okay, like when married people say that they are lonely, it starts to worry us that we are not married. Okay, it starts to worry us, and we expect that married people or couples would be a beacon of light in the society. There would be an example that would make singles want to marry, if you get what I mean. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm begging people who are married that please spend time with each other. Okay, just hugs and kisses. Okay, and asking open question, darling, how's your day been today? Okay, it helps us to deal with our mental health, please. And also during this time of coronavirus, I just want people to be there for each other. Okay, because a lot of my friends, okay, they are depressed because of everything that's happening. So we talked about triggers. So I'm really begging people who are married that spend time with your spouses, spend time, hug each other, make people feel loved and
Even your children.
belonging.
Your
Okay.
children.
Yes, that people should feel like, because I told my partner that the other day that bricks and mortar, there is a house. A home is a place of love. Okay, a place where people are cherished. That's
Mm-hmm.
what a home is. Okay, it's not about a house. Anyone can have a house. You can have a mud house, a carabot house. You know where I come from, they call it carabot house or zinc house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can have any, but there's something called a home, a place of love,
Yeah.
a place where people feel respected, a place that people want to come to. So I'm really begging people who are married out there that please spend time with your spouses, give them a big hug and a big kiss.
Touch,
Okay. Yeah,
tactile.
they call it tactile. Okay, I
Yeah,
think that's the right word for it. It helps with people's mental health.
it
So I'm
does.
begging people. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. I'm sorry, I'm taking
No,
time.
that's not all. I want to ask you, Nzelle, since you've been open about this, because obviously you've been doing the talk. What have you found? Are there many women in the community in Birmingham who are depressed, or do you find that it's very limited to just you?
No. Okay. I think there are too many examples that I'm going to talk about. I'm going to try and okay, the first thing is when I was depressed, yeah, and when I was given a medication, when I wanted to go and get this medication, something they call it beta blockers or something like that.
Mhm.
Okay. When I wanted to go get this medication, I went to the counter and I had previously give my prescription. I went to collect the medication. So as I went there, I I said, "Oh, it's Maria. I've come to collect my prescription." The pharmacist said, "Yes, just wait. We'll sort it out." And they said, "Next." And there were like three people, three young people. They were very younger than myself, like in their 20s, both white and black. And those two young people, they all came. I need my antidepressants. I need my I've come for Zoflox. I've come for citrulline. I've come for there's another one that I can't even remember. And I sat there thinking that I am 40, okay, and I am taking a medication, this powerful medication, and these children don't pay bills, they don't pay rent, they don't pay council tax. What is wrong with our children? How come our children are so depressed? You know, I went home and I cried from the pharmacy to my house. I just cried. How many people are out there that are so depressed? And then the second thing is when I posted our poster, okay, on our CWF forum, okay, about four people called me and said, "Don't have you been going through this?" And one of the ladies said, "Oh, I've been on antidepressant. Like it's okay." It's like, Titi, I've been on antidepressants for like 14 years. You know,
Oh my
I was on antidepressants for 5 years before I told my husband. Anytime he asked me what medication is that, I would just say no, it's high blood medication or it's medication for dieting. I never told him. It took me a while to tell him you know. And then a few days before school closed, I was smiling. So someone sent me a text and I was sitting in the staff room. I was smiling. And my colleagues came around and said, "Oh, Maria, how are you? You look well today." I said, "Hey, I'm much better." And then my colleague was like, "Why do you say you're much better? Have you been sick?" I said, "No, last year was a difficult year for me. And then we started talking. And then she just burst into tears. And I was thinking, what have I said that is so bad? Because we are Black people and I have a different culture. I must have said something that she doesn't like, you
God.
know. And it's like, "Maria, what have you said now? What have you said? You with your mouth, what have you said?" And then she just went into her bag and
Mhm.
pick her antidepressants, 200 milligrams. Do you know what 200 milligrams is? It means you can't. I mean, some people take 50 and they see spiders and fire on the head. Okay. If you take 200 milligrams, I'm sure you will see heaven. You would definitely see heaven. So she showed me her antidepressants, 200 milligrams. And then the other one said to me that, "Oh, I'm just trying to come out of it." So she showed me her own citrulline that she's taking one day in, one day out so that she can come out of it. And I said to myself, that first of all, I felt happy, which was not a nice thing. I felt happy that I was not the only one who was going through this, but I also felt sad.
God.
I felt so sad that a lot of people, including myself, are in this thing. And we're suffering in this, we're having this illness.
Silence. We're suffering in silence.
Silence, that's it. We're suffering in silence. And my neighbor also met me in Tesco once. I had just been at the pharmacy. I was looking for chocolates because sometimes chocolate gives me a little bit of happiness. Okay. So I was buying my chocolate. My neighbor said to me, "How are you? I've not seen you for a while." Because when I was depressed, I told my neighbors that I was depressed, that if they don't see me for 2 days, they should come and knock at my door just to check that I'm okay. Because I was afraid of my own self. I was afraid of handling my own life. So I told my neighbors that they should come and check on me. So one of my neighbors said, "Oh, who are you?" And we started talking. And then she pulled me by the hand. Okay, we're at Tesco. She pulled me by the hand towards towards the corner. She said to me, she said, "Maria." I said, "What's the matter?" She said, "I just want to tell you that I'm also very depressed. And I've been depressed for 4 years." And I thought, she's very young and very beautiful. You know, these beautiful girls that they have blonde hair, figure. I'm thinking, what? Me, I'm black. You're white. I'm not even figure eight. Like when you look at somebody, you say, sister, you find something, go past. And then you are saying all this. And she talked and talked for like 3 hours. I just looked at her like that. And she was going about this depression thing, how it's affecting her, the medication that she's taking. It was terrible. I left Tesco feeling happy that I'm not the only person, but also lamenting on the fact that there are too many people out there that are suffering in silence. And also, just yesterday, someone who is a pastor, I'm not calling anybody's name, someone who is a pastor in Cameroon told me that, "Zelle, since my wife left me, it has not been easy." And he told me what he's going through, okay, with his mental health. And I cried because this is someone that I hold on to. This is someone that I respect. This is someone that I look up to. This is someone that I can call at night and say, "Okay, Pastor, please pray for me." You know what I mean? And for him to open up to me like that, I felt like we need to address this thing. We need to look at a way of helping ourselves out of this situation. Yeah. So I'm not the only one, and I'm sure there are people out there who are suffering or who are in this with me.
And I know that, Eugenie, you're saying sickness does not discriminate, dear. But the thing is, even though depression is a sickness, we don't look at it as a sickness. It's the stigmatization that around it that we're trying to break. We want people to see this as a sickness. So a lot more of us stop suffering in silence. There are so many women I know, including myself in the past, who have been depressed, who are depressed. And a lot of them don't even realize that this is depression.
That's the problem, because I said to my doctor that
there's so many women I know in London whom, because I have been able to understand triggers and understand symptoms and understand how it works for me, I am telling myself, oh my gosh, is it my place to tell this girl to see a therapist or to seek help? Or does this lady know she's depressed? Does this man know that he's depressed? But and I will hold myself from being that open with them, because it's because of the stigma, because I don't want people to say, what this girl, what are you talking about? So I think all I'm trying to say is we really need to be more empathetic, and we really need to educate ourselves, because
that's the thing. Education.
Depression, children are depressed, like you said. It doesn't discriminate. They are young teenagers. They are 13-year-olds. They are 8-year-olds who are committing suicide. So we need to educate ourselves so that we can help our community and even ourselves. But honestly,
because if it's malaria, let's just take malaria for. We'll be able to say, I have fever. This is happening. But when you go now and you're having a different type of symptoms and you don't have any information or any vocabulary or any knowledge about it, it's difficult for you to even tell the doctor about what is wrong with you.
Yeah.
Or you'll just be like me and say, "Doctor, something is wrong with me," or "Something is wrong with me," or, and then you can't even express yourself because you lack the correct vocabulary to do so.
That's so true. That's so true. Wow. Fessa is saying that she was on 150 milligrams of sertraline. So I understand you, Titi. Keep up your faith. You're loved and strong. Wow. So I'm so, not in short, Fesse, thank you. Thank you for being so open, and sharing that you have also been through that, because we need more people to share so that we dispel the stigma. So thank you so much. I really thank you for that. Also, people are talking about hormones playing a big part in depression. I mean, we cannot cover all of that because, again, we are not clinicians and we are not professionals in that field. But we really just wanted to.
If you're only depressed, if you only feel low during your menstrual period or when you're ovulating, that's okay, because when it's over, you can go back to be yourself. Do you understand? Yeah, because some people, they feel low. Yeah, some people, they feel low during their menstrual cycle or when they're ovulating. They feel a little bit low, but it's okay, because when you're out of that period, you come back to yourself and you start to feel happy again.
Yeah. So that, and I think that's what Inda is saying. Inda is saying there's not enough awareness of how hormonal imbalance causes depression. So please, let's start to acknowledge that. If some women look closely, they'll find there's a week or two, a month just before or just after their periods when they are down. Yeah. So let's educate ourselves. Again, educating ourselves is going to really help us to be able to handle this. Nzelle, everyone say you are a star. Let's normalize depression. Let's normalize that in our conversation so that we can be able to save one sister or one brother.
Yeah.
We really need to.
If people are able to talk about it, we can talk about malaria, we can talk about flu, we can talk about typhoid. Let's also talk about our mental health.
Let's talk about our mental health.
Yes, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it with our children, because what we've seen in school is how our children are so depressed, especially some. I'm not going to talk about this because we talked about this before. Okay, I'm not going to take time because I know time is it's precious for now. Okay, I'm just going to talk about.
I told you.
I'm just going to talk about two things. First of all, I want to encourage Black men, okay, or minorities, including Asian. I want you to talk about your mental health, please. Okay, please. I want to encourage every man, because sometimes men like to feel like I'm a man. When up here things are kolo up here, So it is important that men should talk about their mental health. It's important that we talk to our children about our mental health. Okay, I had to change the way in my family, because at first when I come back from work, I just leave my bag, I put Netflix on or YouTube, and I start to just live life. Okay, but now when I come back from work, I make a cup of tea. When Tom comes out back from work, the first thing is, darling, how is your day been? Okay, so that he can then express that this happened, like that happened, like that happened, and then we can talk about it. How did you handle it? Okay, is there another way to it? How did you, what triggered that? So it's important that we spend family time. And I understand from my heart, I understand that my sisters and my brothers are working 24/7. I know, because I've been there myself, working connective shifts. You do 9 to 5, you do 6 to 10 cleaning, you connect, you sleep for 2 hours, then you start to connect again. I understand that. Okay, and I'm not going to fault you for anything. What I'm saying is that please have some time with your family, have some time to talk so that people can talk. A lot of our children in school, they don't make friends. People pick on them. Okay, people laugh at them because of the way they look, or they're not speaking well, or blah 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 blah. Okay, so if we can't talk about it at home, where else can we talk about it? Okay, so I want to encourage every person out there to spend time, okay, to love yourself, please, and also give members of your family a place where they can talk about their mental health, where they can talk about their day. How have they been today? What did they do? Okay, have you got friends in school? Did you eat in school? And try to connect with your children. I think it's something that we don't do. So we just don't understand our children, their day-to-day lives. It's important that we sit down and we talk to our children. Please, I'm begging you. I'm just so begging you, because our children are muted, and I'll come another day and I'll talk about muted. Yes, muted children. A lot of our children, they come back from Africa, okay, and when they come with this our accent and they try to play with other children in school and they start to laugh at them, they get muted, and that is affecting their well-being. That is affecting them fulfilling their potentials.
We'll definitely talk about Nzelle. You know, we said we're going to talk about that. We need to talk about this whole thing, our children's well-being and our children's mental health generally in this country where we're raising them within the confines of our homes to be Africans, and then they go out into the world and then they have to be Brits or Americans or Dutch, and the confusion and all the little things that that goes through them. Yeah. And how it affects their development. We're definitely going to come back to that. But I just want to really thank you. Somebody asked a question which I want to ask. So your depression was triggered by the environment you worked in. Are you still there? Do you still work with the same people? What's happening?
Okay. What I did is first of all, I had to educate myself. You see, in this country, if you're not aware of the law, they will drain you in this country. Okay, because that's where your employer wants you to be. So I educated myself. I loved myself, and I gave myself rules that if you want me to address a task at work, you need to give me at least 1 week notice. Yeah. So at first, my line manager was, oh, it needs to be done like tomorrow, you know. No, it's not done. It's not done. You're not going to kill me, okay? It's not just done.
But when I started the union as well.
Yes.
Register with the unions.
No, I'll get to union. Okay. The first thing is for you, okay, to know what are the policies at your workplace. Okay, what are the policies? Because once as you start to tell your employer that this job is stressful, or this job, I'm finding what they call work-life balance. There's something called work-life balance. If it's not correct and you start to raise concern about that to your employer, they start to adjust your work life. Do you understand what I mean? So if you don't go to your employer and say, listen, this is not working for me, they will just treat you anyhow.
Yeah.
So I went and I said to myself that, listen, the first thing I did is that I spoke to my employer and said, listen, I am depressed. And when I spoke to my employer, at first he didn't take it seriously. I went to my doctor, got a note from my doctor, and I went there and said, listen, I told you that I'm depressed, and this is the note from my GP. And then the second thing I did is that I requested for part-time work. So I don't work full-time. I work 4 days a week, okay? And then the one day I just use it to relax or to go on Facebook, okay, or to draw or to do something. But please don't follow me, okay? I can do this because I can manage my finances effectively. If you're not able to manage your finances effectively, I don't expect you to do that, okay? And then the other thing is your union. You must talk to your union about your health so that they can give you some, is it occupational therapy? They call it, I've forgotten. You know, there's some therapy that comes to speak to you at work, okay, that helps you with everything that's going on. Okay, it helps you to plan your working life and work-life balance and all of these things. So the first thing is talk to your employer, number 1. Number 2, go and get advice from your union. Number 3, set some goals for yourself. Set your own strategies for yourself, okay? Things should not be overnight. It doesn't work like that, okay? They give you plenty of time to get it done. And if you can't get it done, I can't get it done at this moment. Sorry, full stop. You send the email.
Assertiveness in the workplace.
Yes. Because the thing about workplace is that they will replace you. If you die, I tell you, they will replace you straight away. They would not say, oh, let's leave this vacancy for Maria, for thy kingdom come. As soon as they put you rest in peace, they would advertise your job before you even die. So love yourself first.
Love yourself.
Yeah.
Love and value yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there's not much I can add to that. This has been, what a session. I've had my highest ever interactions. Thank you so much, Nzelle. It's been amazing. I've learned a lot I have learned so much. And I really want to thank you, honestly. I'm sure everyone in the comments is thanking you. But one final word to your guests before I take you backstage.
Okay. Is it from me?
For you,
hey,
say good
1
night
hour,
to your
40
guests.
minutes. Oh, I'm so sorry. I've taken a lot of your time. 1 hour, 40 minutes. Okay, let's round up.
No, we
Okay.
are. Mm-hmm.
Okay. The first thing, the message I want to give everybody is one, love yourself first. Love yourself. Okay. Cherish the time that you're spending with your loved ones. Keep memories. Life is good. And if you're in a place where you're in doubt, I can assure you that there are people who love you. They love you so much that it's beyond your understanding. So if you're at that point where you are low, just have that small voice in your head that people love you and you're precious. Okay, the Lord has made you precious in his own image. The Lord loves you. Okay, the Lord's plans for you are good. They are good. Okay, and if you're in a place of loneliness or a place where you're feeling sad, please talk to someone. I'm begging you. Okay, talk to me like people have been talking to me. Send me a private email, even if you don't want to write your name. Just do it and we'll talk.
Nzelle's Facebook name is there on the banner that's running across the screen. Maria Nzelle, you will find her on Facebook.
Okay. Please talk to me, okay? Or to find a body that you can talk to. Get someone in your family. Like for me, I have my aunt, okay? My aunt is very strict, but you'll be surprised that even those strict people, you tell them about your mental health, they'll come and help you. So please don't take that burden all on yourself. Talk about it, please. Okay, and medication should be your last option. I'll say it again. Some people don't like it, but I'll say this is my own take on things. Medication should be your last option. Try other methods, talking therapy. Okay, please do exercising. Okay, please, I'm begging you, and you're precious. You're wonderfully and
made.
Yeah,
And what I'll add to those is recognize your triggers. You have to know that if your triggers could come from anywhere. You have to know that if, for example, watching scary movies triggers something, or watching a movie where there's rape or something would trigger, you really need to be very, very, very conscious of the thoughts in your head and the things that you consume, like Nzelle said. You know, if you know that somebody looking at you bad eye would create some kind of insecurity within you, immediately turn away. Immediately turn away and avoid those situations. So really try hard to understand your triggers, the things that take you down that dark rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Identify them. They will help you. And I join you to say positive affirmations.
Yeah. And please, someone said to me yesterday, please, if I've not addressed anything that people have said to me yesterday, is because, you know, when you're live, there's a lot of things coming into your mind. And I'm so sorry. Okay. I know someone talked about death. Okay. And I know that in Cameroon, we don't have counseling in Cameroon. Okay. But if you're in a place where death brought depression, please, the only thing I can tell you is that when my grandfather died, I was depressed as well. Okay, but it was not as intense as last year. Okay, when you're in that position of losing a loved one, okay, I want you to think about good memories. Okay, please. Okay, because someone told me last night that their own problem is that they have not been able to come out of the death of, is it their, I've written it somewhere. I think it's their dad or mom or something like that. So please, okay, please, if that is your trigger, look for memories. Okay, that's why we keep memories. Yeah, we keep memories. So when you're in that place where you're thinking, oh, mommy don't die, you look at that nice food that mommy used to cook for fun eru, and say, mommy, this year for fun eru, it pass back, head pass. Okay, if it's some holidays that you and mommy have gone to, you bring back those memories and you smile over them and say, mommy, you are in a good place. Okay, so if it's about death, I know we don't have counseling, but remember those good memories, please.
Yeah, and if you're like me who has lost all the memories, my iMac was we sent it in for repairs and they deleted all our data and it's irretrievable. So all my children's pictures are gone.
Honestly, I mourned. I cried like a baby, like all my memories of my children. So anyway, I'm very consciously making new memories going forward. But at least the beauty of that is some of it is left in your mind, even though you can't remember all. So, but try and hold on to those memories. Just find a way to hold on to those memories. I agree with you on that 100%.
Can I just have seen the comment? Someone has sent me a private comment about poverty. Okay. I can't give anybody money because I don't have enough myself. Okay. What I can say about poverty is that effective budgeting can help you with poverty. If poverty is your trigger, effective budgeting can help you with it. So if you're only earning £1,000 a month, okay, please live within £1,000 a month. Yeah. Okay. Because when you're going overdrawn, it can put you in a place of depression. So somebody just said to me that for their own is poverty. I'm not calling anybody's name. So if poverty is your trigger, live within your means, please. Okay, please live within your means and budget properly.
Thank you. I mean, I think we could have this conversation till 10 o'clock. But I just want to thank you. I want to thank you all. But before I go, I want to read what Immaculate says. She says, I've been depressed and attempted to drive over the bridge, but was told repeatedly that I am an ungrateful person and not looking at all the things I am blessed with. I brought that up to again reiterate the fact that when somebody tries to do something abnormal or out of normal, approach it from a place of empathy. Try not to be judgmental. Try and understand, why would somebody whom you think has it all want to do that to themselves? If you come from that, then maybe you would understand and help that person heal and not be so quick to judge, because judging just pushes people further down that dark hole, like we've said all evening. Nzelle, this has been amazing. This has been amazing. I thank you. We're going to have this conversation again with you, honestly. But for every single person who has shared their comments, who has gone into that vulnerable place to share their experiences, like Immaculate Song and so many others, I thank you. Because by sharing your experience, we're doing exactly what Nzelle and I prayed before the show. If we can touch one person to break this stigma, we have done our job tonight. And so I'm so grateful for you. I'm so thankful. Thank you for sharing. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for sharing, because you would save another woman's life or another man's life just by sharing your experiences. And that's what we do on the Woman Experience on Wednesdays and Fridays at 8 p.m. British Summer Time right now. Or what we do is we learn through our shared experiences, and this is what we've done today. And Nzelle, you've been an amazing guest. Amazing day. Thank you for being so forthcoming with your truth and with your experience. And I'm going to put you backstage now. So say good night.
Can I just say that? Can you pray for everybody? Okay, because we said
pray.
We said at the start we're going to pray. And at the end, we're also going to pray, because you see, the thing is, in order for us to be able to go through obstacles, you need the grace of God.
True.
Okay, so we're going to pray. Okay, because we've come to the end of this. Are you praying? Am I praying?
You pray.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you. We thank you for a successful show. We thank you that you've given us the effort to go through this. We pray for everybody who's listening, that may your spirit dwell in them. We pray for joy in their hearts, oh Heavenly Father, and help people to talk about their mental health. Father, we give you all the glory, oh Lord. We give you all the honor and adoration, oh God. We pray, oh Heavenly Father, that as a people and as a community, we'll be able to talk about our feelings and our mental health. Okay, we're confident to each other, and there will be no shame or there will be no stigma towards this. We lift all our voices to you, and I pray for every soul that is present here today. Father, guide them and protect them. Amen. Thank you so much, and God bless you guys.
Gosh, thank you so much, Nzelle. That's the first that someone's prayed on the show. So thank you. I'll keep you backstage now, but don't go. Thank you. Wow, guys, what can I say? She said it. I think that prayer has topped it up. Amen. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for spending almost 2 hours listening to us. Appreciate every single moment that has been spent here. And I really hope that if there's one thing or two things that we take from this, is the importance to talk about what we are going through, what we are feeling. Find that one person in your circle or even outside of your immediate circle that you think you can confide in, even if it's just going to see your GP, but find somebody to express how you feel. And secondly, love yourself. Self-love, we've reiterated that all night. Self-love, self-love. Say positive things about yourself and just find everything. I always say this to my husband. Be very, 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 very selfish in your quest for self-love. Be selfish. Be really selfish in your quest for self-love, because once you attain that, then can you give love to others. So I thank you. We are back here on Wednesday next week at 8 p.m. and I hope you see. And for those who are asking, after this show, we upload it on YouTube. The YouTube page is the Goretti Experience. So if you have family members who are not on YouTube, who are not on Facebook, you can share the YouTube page to them. And please, 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 for those who are new and joining us for the first time, try and like and follow our page. It's the Goretti Experience on Facebook. Like and follow our page. Please, 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 please. Thank you very much. And I'll see you on Wednesday. Have a good weekend and God bless you all. Bye-bye.